In John's Gospel, in between the washing of the feet and the arrest of Jesus, we see a whole chapter devoted to Jesus' prayer. And as I mentioned at the beginning of Holy Week, we're meditating on Jesus who prayed. Jesus prayed before, during, and after his passion. And so it's important that we reflect a little on John 17, historically known as the high priestly prayer of Jesus. It's an entire chapter devoted to Jesus praying to the Father. And there's so much we could say about it, but we'll say just a few things about it tonight. To help us better understand John chapter 17, which if you haven't read it before, I encourage you to perhaps read it tonight when you go home. It's not a very long chapter, but it's profound. But to better understand it, we have to understand a little bit better the Jewish Feast of Atonement, also known as Yom Kippur. And this was the one time a year, it's a liturgical feast day where the high priest of the temple would enter into the Holy of Holies and he would offer a sacrifice first for himself, and then he would offer a sacrifice for the priestly clan, all the other priests that were part of the temple worship. And then he would offer a sacrifice for all of the people of God. So all of the Israelites at the time. And this happened once a year. And the point was to make atonement for all the sins that were committed over the past year so that the people could be reconciled to God. This happened every single year on the Feast of Yom Kippur, also known as the Day of Atonement. And Jesus, in John chapter 17, very much fulfills the Feast of Atonement with his prayer. He reveals himself as the high priest, fulfilling the Old Testament high priesthood, Jesus becoming the one and true high priest of the New Testament. And what we see happens in John chapter 17 is that Jesus prays first for himself, then for his apostles, the future priests, and then for the whole world. So I'm just going to read a few verses from the chapter. This is John chapter 17, verse 17 through 21. Jesus says, "Consecrate them in truth. Your word is truth. As you have sent me into the world, so I send them into the world. And I consecrate myself for them, so that they also may be consecrated in truth. I pray not only for them, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, so that they may all be one, as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they also may be in us, and the world may believe that you sent me." Jesus says, I consecrate myself for them, so that they also may be consecrated in truth. Them being the apostles. But the very next verse, I pray not only for them, the apostles, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, us, the church. Jesus reveals himself as the intercessor. And if ever you have felt inspired to pray for someone in your life, what we learn through this prayer is that all intercessory prayer is in and through Jesus, because Jesus is the intercessor between God and man. But as he consecrated himself right here during Holy Week to God the Father, he also consecrated his people. And therefore, as we pray for others, the best thing that we can do first is to become holy ourselves. And as we become holy, consecrated, sanctified, or set apart for God, our prayers become spiritually effective, efficacious for those that we love. And this is a big part of our mission at St. Leo. Draw me, Lord, and we shall run. We pray that the Lord would draw us close to him in union with Jesus, that you and I would be consecrated in truth, sanctified, holy, set apart. And as we are sanctified and made holy, we shall run. All of those that we love may run with us to God the Father, that they too may become holy. All intercessory prayers in union with Jesus Christ. And it was all made possible because of his sacrifice, because he himself consecrated his life to the Father for our behalf. So who do you want to pray for today? Who in your life needs prayers? If we want to pray like Jesus, the first thing we want to do is be sanctified like Jesus, so that all of our prayers become spiritually effective.